It's been a long time since this Finnish black metal band Korgonthurus came into being. That is about some 20 years ago. Now this is not the most active Finnish black metal band out there, considering it's only their third album, which is out, well, actually today, the 13th of March 2020. This is, however, what we have here for review. It's called Kuolleestasyntynyt, born from the dead, I guess would be some sort of a translation. Let's do a little bit unboxing and then we'll start talking about the band and also the album, obviously. So, unboxing this nice jewel case and time to take a look. The reason why this band hasn't been that much of active is something that I'm gonna show you in a little bit more detail, but let's just say that this band kind of fell into sort of a hiatus, kind of broke down for a little bit, then came back, then another time to have this long pause or whatever, and now they are back once again. Obviously, the lineup has changed quite a bit during these years, so there are a couple of original members of the band left, and the rest, well, they are more or less newer ones. Also, since their 2009 debut album, Marras, which is for review on next Indie 5 episode on Sunday, the band has actually changed their style quite a bit. Now that is more atmospheric and super dark, black metal, even depressive to a sort, and this is a little bit different breed. As you can see, quite a thick booklet, really nice cover image, oil painted if I'm not mistaken, and I think this is something you should be totally checking out. Well, let's get into that while I tell you a little bit of the band and show you the kind of facts on Metal Archive's site. As you can see, Korgonthurus was founded in 2000, and here are the breaks, which you can actually see right there. So they didn't operate more than a year or so, then came back for 15 years, and then a little bit break, and again. And what you can read basically this information, they went on a hiatus. However, there are quite a nice amount of different releases, mostly being EPs, splits, demos obviously, and so forth. And here we have these 3 full-length albums, of which this Kuolleestasyntynyt is, well, the newest one. Most people who have been following the band since the start might remember that this is more or less kind of a driven, that is, handled vocals and whatever, by Mr. Korvus, who used to be a long time Horna vocalist, and this is something that some people might have seen as a kind of a sidestep or a new project or new band, when he just kind of decided to leave Horna behind and move to other ventures. To be honest, I don't know how much these two overlapped back in the days, but here it is how it basically goes. And as you can see, these two are the newer members of the band. So it has changed, I mean, the whole lineup throughout the course of the band and the career of the band, that is. And obviously it has changed music. Now this is a curious thing if you take a look at this similar artists page, because people have been voting bands like Horna, Bihexen and so forth as the kind of similar artists. Now I don't know why there are bands like, say, Goat Moon, for example, or Satanic Warmaster mentioned here, because in my opinion they are not that similar. But obviously it depends which album we're talking about. Once again, we could be debated that Horna is basically the one that is similar in style, because Korgonthurus also is kind of a melodic and raw. They are different, but they have this kind of similar Finnish craftsmanship, if you will, when it comes to the actual riffs, the melodies, the kind of a atmosphere, the kind of a vibe which is there to kind of dominate the music. Now, if we are talking about the previous releases, especially the Marras album, well, I would say this similar artists list would be quite different. Very, very different in my opinion. But then again, that doesn't really have the kind of a Finnish feeling. So once again, it depends on which phase of the band you kind of started to check out Korgonthurus. And if you're totally new, just try to approach the band without as little prejudice as you can, because it's, while it's very Finnish, it's also very, very different from most of the bands listed there, at least in my opinion. Now, Kuolleestasyntynyt is kind of a combination of being raw and melodic black metal. It's not as raw as some of those really primitive bands, but then again, it's not as melodic as some of the more melodic bands. I mean, think of the bands such as Dark Funeral and the like, you know, which are very, very melodic, or bands like Dissection and so forth. This is not even near. So this is something that kind of stands in the middle in so many ways. Surely there are melodic parts, but it's far away from being this mainstream. And one key factor here it is actually is the kind of a rawish production. It complements the music quite nicely, sure, but it might be too much to handle for some people who are expecting more kind of a nicer and cleaner sound. Now, for me, it's kind of tricky to say which one is the best album in Korgonthurus' discography, because I think they're very much consistent, very much in line, yet they are different kind of albums. I think they only want to kind of a step away from being actually really good. Now they all are like something worthwhile listening to, goodish, but just missing the kind of a cutting edge. Obviously, this is a matter of taste more than anything, and some people will totally fall in love with music of Korgonthurus, but I wouldn't say they are great. I mean, they are quite easy to enjoy, whether on stage or whether you are listening to them on an album, but something magical is missing, at least from my personal perspective. But once again, this is a matter of taste more than anything. So, in my opinion, this new album is a nice addition to a Finnish black metal scene of modern days. And I find very, very little, or, well, few excuses why not to check it out. Because, after all, it's more good than anything else. And obviously, these links, now the mouse started to stop working. You will find some of these links presented in the description box, so you don't have to go all the way here. But obviously you have this Metal Archives link there as well, so you can pretty much go to see their other social media pages and whatnot. So check it out. This is out on the 13th of March 2020. So go check out those Bandcamp samples, and obviously I hope you like it. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Bye bye.